what's going on? I'm Brooklyn's own Toddy D, and with me, as always, is my main man in crime, DieHard Derek. Welcome to Escape from Brooklyn, Episode 2. My main man, what's been going on, bro?
And a lot's been going on since the last episode. It feels like it was just a few minutes ago that it happened.
Exactly. That's how I feel too. It's like deja vu all over again.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, the mic again. I was just here. But yeah, man, Father's Day. Whew, glad that one's over.
Yes, happy belated Father's Day to you, bro.
Thank you. Happy belated Father's Day to you too, man. We only about a day and a half out, but damn, just getting to it was a nightmare. It was a mess. Yeah. You know, I try to shop. See, I love Father's Day. It's my favorite holiday. It's my day. I created fucking people, so it's like, oh, celebrate
it's about
that
us.
shit. Right, not us. Yeah, so I felt good about it. I was like, all right, cool. And then, but shopping for my father kind of takes me out of the moment because he doesn't have any hobbies. So I'm like, what do you shop for? And I'm all year long, I'm questioning him. I'm trying to get hints, like say something that you like that I can fuck with this later. And I go shopping for him. I can't find a fucking thing anywhere. And I can't do the same thing for my mother either. So Mother's Day, she's got no hobbies. Their hobby together is fighting with each other. So they'll walk around the house, they start nitpicking, like, hey, motherfucker, hey. So I'm thinking maybe next year I could do like a joint Mother's Day and Father's Day. Get them a referee with a striped shirt, and they can just fucking argue all day long. And the kids will be judges,
hard, man.
Right? If they end up going to whoever walks off to the room and slams the door first, whoever exits the room first, the other one's the winner. So it's just like
exactly.
If they go the distance, the kids, the grandkids would be there with the fucking scorecards. It's like, let's go to the judges.
Exactly.
But how was your Father's Day? What'd you do for Father's Day?
Well, it was interesting. It was like a 2-part series. On Saturday, my father-in-law, he lives upstate. So my wife and I, and my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, we went upstate for the day. Mm-hmm. And he has this nice Italian restaurant down the hill from where he lives. So we went there for dinner. It was really cool. We had a really good time. And, it's like a 2.5-hour ride each way. So, he wants to hang out forever with us and, bullshit and this, that, and, the other. And we're like, listen, we got to get going. It's getting late. He's like, oh, you just got here. We're like, listen, we got here at 10 in the morning. Yeah. It's now almost 4 o'clock. We got 2.5 hours to go. Unfortunately, we have to leave. So now what we used to do is we get there at the same time, 10 in the morning. Now he lives upstate. And when you get off the exit, you have to go down this road and literally up a winding hill. He's on top of a fucking mountain. He's got a big like log cabin type home that he built. He was an architect, Pecan Ed.
How far from civilization?
Himself. Yeah, it's like he's like Grizzly Adams, bro.
How far is he like from the nearest town with real people?
Well, no, the main town, like the main street, like the town where he lives is right down the hill, which is maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, not too bad.
10, 15 minutes. But he's got like tons of land.
Right.
And he's up on this big hill on his own. The closest neighbor is down the hill, that main hill before you get to the road. So he's got like a lot of peace and quiet. Yeah. We go shooting there. We shoot bow and arrows. We do everything.
Right. Nobody wants to go up that fucking hill.
Just like, no, nobody does, man. I mean, I want you to picture something. When I first started going out with my wife, I had a 97 Firebird. Okay. And I used to take it up that hill back in the day. Mm-hmm. So I must have really been trying to impress her if I took that fucking sports car up that hill.
Must have, man.
Because
I was like from the hood in Brooklyn. I'm thinking about beating somebody's ass, stuffing them in a garbage can, and rolling them down the fucking hill for 10 minutes.
Exactly, bro. Now it's a lot easier. I got a pickup truck, so I just climb that shit like it's nothing. Get out, boots to asses, get out of here, man. But we hung out at his house for a couple of hours, and we had the reservation for 2 o'clock because we figure, the quicker we eat, the earlier it is, the quicker we can start heading home. Not to be rude, but it's a long drive. Yeah. So we saw him. We had a nice day, but my Father's Day was actually on Father's Day on Sunday.
Okay.
My wife and my daughter took me out. I have another daughter, but she lives in Maryland, and she felt bad, but she had to work. So I'll see her maybe like in a week or two.
Okay.
So we go out for dinner. And, we touched this in episode 1 about how people don't listen in restaurants. I said I had a reservation for 2. And the girl asked me how many times she said how many people when I said reservation for 2. Well, this time around, it wasn't that bad. But we've been to this place plenty of times. It's in Staten Island. Great place. The steaks are delicious. I love nice size, nice portion. The waiter that was there, I'd never seen this guy before. It's like our 3rd time going there. And it was my daughter's first. So we get there and we were ordering the appetizers, and we got the buffalo wings, and we were going to get baked clams. And he says, "Let me check in the kitchen to see if we have any." I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" So there was no baked clams. That was strike 1. So we ordered the buffalo wings and we got some other type of appetizer. So we get the food. And now the guy, he's not coming like a waiter should, how's the food? Can I get you another drink? Every 5 minutes, I felt like I'm looking like this, I'm looking like that. And I couldn't find this guy. And I started getting really hot. And
the
me
only
with my
waiter
temper.
was a fucking ninja.
Yeah. So I'm like, where the fuck is this guy? I mean, I see the other waitresses and waiters help, waiting on the tables next to us, but I don't see my guy. So I had one beer with my food. So now I'm thirsty. I want to get a Coke. I'm waiting. It took him like 10 minutes. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to come back." I'm like, "You forgot to come back? Would you get lost? I mean, what the fuck?" He gives me the Coke. So now, we're eating, we're enjoying our meal, and we don't need anything. So I don't care. He's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting toward the end of the dinner. So my wife says to me, the last time we were here, the ice cream or whatever, I had a chocolate mousse, whatever it was. And she goes, "It was really good. How about we get dessert?" I said, "Okay." So I looked at my daughter. I said, "You want to get dessert?" She's like, yeah, I can go for it. I'm definitely going for it. I said, "Okay." So now the next thing is, what do you need to do?
You got to flag this guy
down.
Waiter.
Where the fuck is this guy? Where's Action Jackson? I don't know where the hell he is. So I'm looking all over for this fucking dude. I got the binoculars out. I got the fucking infrared light. I don't see this guy. He's nowhere to be fucking found. So finally, my wife looks at me. She says, "You know what? We're going out later on for Father's Day in the evening. We were going to my daughter's boyfriend's house to hang out with his family." Okay. So she says, "You know what? We're going to go to their house. We're going to have dessert over there. Let's just skip the dessert and get the check." So I'm thinking to myself, if I can't find this guy for dessert, how am I going to find him for the fucking check? I'm thinking to myself. So now I'm looking around and I'm looking, and I don't see this guy. So now I'm thinking, we escaped from Brooklyn, but I'm thinking Brooklyn mentality. Let's just walk out one at a time. No one's gonna know the difference because I don't know where the fuck this guy is.
You're like, the bill's wrong. You're gonna have to take that back to somebody else.
Exactly. What bill? So I'm waiting for this dude. So I look to the corner. Now we're sitting in the corner booth, and when you go to leave, you have to go over this step, and there's like the big bar toward the front. You have the door. So he was sitting the whole time. Get this, the whole time this guy is fucking sitting at the bar. And now I couldn't see him because there's like a pillar, like a post, and he's sitting behind it. So I go over, I look over. Now, not only is the guy sitting there on his phone, he's sitting there on a fucking Captain Kirk flip phone. So now I think maybe I took a couple of steps too far into the past. My man is on a flip phone texting. Now, if you remember the old phones, if you have to use S, RS, T, RST. So I'm watching this guy. He's finger poking the shit out of his flip phone, trying to do a text. It looks like he was jerking it off. I mean, what's this guy doing?
I try to go up to him. Hey, come on.
Exactly. So I tap his shoulder, right? And I scared the crap out of him. He jumps and he looks at me and he says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Can you help me?" "Well, since you haven't helped me at this point, not really, but can I have the check?" And he looked at me like I'm fucking crazy. He was like, "Yeah, I guess." I'm like, "You guess?" I'm thinking to myself, fuck, I should have walked out one at a time, like I said earlier. We could have been in Hoboken. He would have been different.
He didn't give a fuck. He was at the bar trying to figure out.
He was on a flip phone. A flip phone. I swear to God, I looked out the window. I was looking for a DeLorean.
Like,
I thought I went fucking back in time. I really thought I went back in time. I was like, Marty, get the DeLorean. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? And he just looked at me and said, "Oh, okay, I'll get it for you in a minute." As if to say, like, "Hey, you're bothering me."
Yeah.
Bro, you're my fucking
I gotta finish this fucking text.
Yeah, you had to see him texting, man. I thought he was gonna break his finger. RST, LM, OP, QR. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? By the time he would have shot that text, it would have been Mother's Day. I'm telling you, man. So that was, but my Father's Day was great. We had a lovely time. It's funny because if my wife doesn't get me clothes, I'll wear my clothes until they turn into Swiss cheese. I don't know about you.
Dude, I'm the same way. Shorts, you know how many t-shirts I have? She loses her fucking mind when she does laundry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, mine too. I have and
I do a couple of wardrobe changes a day.
Me too. And she says to me, "How many shorts do you wear a day?" I'm like, I was switching off. What can I tell you? Because I get I'm a t-shirt guy.
Yeah, me too.
I wear funny t-shirts. I wear jerseys. I wear sports shirts, wrestling shirts. I wear all kinds of shit.
Yeah, if you're listening out there, we could use some sponsors. 80s tees,
some sponsors.
pro wrestling tees.
Pro wrestling tees, if you're listening, I'm a subscriber.
Yeah, cut the
As a
check.
matter of fact, I have it right here on the floor. I could show you. But the bottom line is this, I love my shirts. I don't know what to tell you. But the funny thing is, she's like, I had to buy you these shorts because I was complaining the other day. I said, I love these shorts. They're my favorite shorts.
Oh, she bought you shorts.
Yeah.
I think you said shirts. She bought you shorts.
No, shorts and jeans.
Okay.
So she's like, well, if I don't buy them, who's fucking gonna buy them?
Come on, bad boy.
Exactly. Put up them shorts, baby. No, like regular shorts, like like this, shorts. But it was cool. My daughter got me a nice gift card. I go to a certain place to get my truck washed. So I got like 2 washings for that. She gave me a $50 gift card. They gave me all kinds of shit. So Father's Day was great. We had a good time at her boyfriend's parents' house in the evening. But that dude, man, he must have been sitting at the bar. I have to go back to this. He had to have been sitting at that bar the whole entire time, from appetizer to entree to wanting dessert that we couldn't have dessert to the check. He was probably there the whole time doing the same text, because that's how long it takes on those fucking flip phones.
It would be fucked up if that's the thing that he had to use to put the order in. He's like, dude, I'm still putting the appetizer. Come on.
Exactly. I haven't billed you yet. Give me a second. I got my Nokia flip here. You got to give me a second.
Applebee's like,
the
listen,
battery died.
I don't need an Apple 12. You give me that fucking old Nokia BlackBerry. They'll figure it out.
I mean, if he would have had a fucking BlackBerry, it would have been an upgrade. I mean, he had the Star Trek flip phone shit going on.
I was print your receipt by fax machine. Hold on, it's coming.
Exactly. So how was your Father's Day? What did you do?
Dude, I didn't do. So we ended up basically going to my parents' house, and because we're Puerto Rican, we got to do Puerto Rican shit. So they were like, "You want to watch In the Heights or whatever?" Lin-Manuel Miranda, really good movie. I mean, if you're into musicals and shit, but
right.
It's a good flick. We sat around doing that, but the whole time I'm looking at my wife Lori, and I'm like, "Yo, you think my daughter's gonna tell us that she just got a dog recently?" I'm like,
"Your daughter got a dog?"
She got a dog, yeah. So here's the thing: she's 20 years old. She just moved out with her boyfriend. She's been living on her own for like 3 months. First apartment. I just paid off her car. She's living with the boyfriend, which I'm already like, but she's 20. So these are like what they would call her college years. But I'm like, is this shit serious or not? Because like, I didn't break this dude in yet. I'm not ready. I don't know. If you're
not ready to accept him.
I can't make the decision if he's the one. She has to make that decision. But here I'm just like, I gotta vet this motherfucker.
That you're gonna like.
I want to do background checks and shit like that. I want to know everything about you.
Definitely.
But she ends up buying a fucking dog. She adopted a 4-year-old pit bull. And right now, as of this moment right now, we're not supposed to know about this. It's a secret.
Oh, wow.
She hasn't told us. She's had the dog over a week already. She has not told us. Now, it's crazy because it's like, that's a commitment. That's like having a baby. You just
costs
had
more
a
to feed
baby.
him than them.
Right. So I'm like, this is a living fucking thing. You're 20 years old. You just started learning how to take care of yourself. Now you're going to bring a baby into the situation that you got to feed, that you got to walk. You fucking crazy. And then in my head, this is where Father's Day comes in. In my fucking head, I'm like, and in a month or two, she'll quit her job. She can't pay her bills. She'll come back home and I'm going to have a third fucking dog.
You're going to have a third dog and a future maybe possible son-in-law to boot.
Yeah, no, listen, he's going wherever.
Gordon.
Whoever made him needs to take him back. That's it. So
you better check the refund on that, bro.
This is your refund. Get the fuck out of here. So. But yeah, man, it wasn't, anything major, anything big. I like that day. I like Father's Day. I feel like that's my, as a creative person, that's my greatest production. So, I dig it. I like it.
That's a day where we get our due. And they tell us how much they appreciate us and how much they love us. And the other 364 days here and there, things are good. One day, next day, oh, he's a fucking asshole. I can't stand you. I hate you. And then a day later, I love you. And can we do this? And can we do that?
It
fluctuates all year round.
On Father's Day, you're supposed to think about your old man and all the good memories, but there's no holiday to ever celebrate the bad ones. So.
Right, exactly.
I'm just like, I remember that time I was about 4 years old and we were walking from somewhere and I was like this big ass park in the middle of nowhere, like far, far from home. And he just out of nowhere just looked at me and says, "What if I left you here?" So I'm just
You
like,
think you'd be able to make your way back?
what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah.
I'm 4 years old. What do you mean if you leave me here? I'm gonna get kidnapped.
My dad used to mess with me like that
Dead
too. Do you
by
think you'd be
7
able to
o'clock.
find your way
I'm
home?
just like- and I'm like, what the fuck? So I think about those fucking things, and it's crazy because like even when I was a kid and I would fall down and get hurt, it wasn't, you know, like he didn't call in the medical examiner, but he just look at me and then brush me off, like, all right, walk it off, you're good. I'm like, well, what?
Walk it off.
Walk it off.
And I got that all the time.
Dude, he's like, all right, no blood. I don't see any bones poking out. You're good. Walk it off. Go. The pain will go away.
I don't hear you screaming in pain, so just walk it off.
Like, but Dad, I got internal bleeding. It's like, that's where the blood belongs, is when it comes out. That's when there's a problem.
If it's internal, that means it's inside still. You're good. If we see it coming out, then we have to worry.
What does walk it off do, man?
Walk it off, man.
I got a broken ankle. Walk it off. What?
No, man. I almost lost my leg to walk on because he told me to walk it off.
He did.
Yep. You see, back in, famous expression back in the day, my parents, they're divorced. My dad, he passed a couple of years ago, but when I was a kid, I used to go upstate for the summertime and I'd hang out there, for the whole summer. So he used to break my balls, joking around like the way your father, what if I left you here? Can you find your way back? Whatever. So back in those days, you would have, black kids, if they were foster kids in homes, they would have them go upstate in the summertime.
Mm.
It was like a program, and they referred to them as fresh air kids.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So my father would break my balls, and when I come up there, he's like, well, you're here for the summer, so, you're like a fresh air kid. And I'm like, and I look at him like, I want to say, what the fuck, but, I was afraid he'd kick my ass. I'm like, I'm no fresh air kid. I was like, I'm your son. You live here. I come here to visit you.
This is what freedom looks like when you don't commit to a relationship.
Kids,
it just
he's like, well, like the kids that come from New York, the foster kids, they come from New York to come up as fresh air kids, and you're coming from New York. It's the same thing.
So you're in the hood with your mother.
And he's like fucking with me, like saying, you're my fresh air kid.
He's like, I'm doing so much better since I left.
Yeah, exactly. Really fuck your head up.
Come up sometime. Summer, you can smell that? That's freedom.
That's fresh air, kid.
All right, summer's over. Get the fuck out of here.
So one summer I'm hanging out with him, and he's at work, and I'm hanging out with one of my buddies, and we go out bike riding. And we were kids, we were aggressive. We were fucking ruthless maniacs on bikes, no fear.
Mm-hmm.
So upstate where the hospital used to be, it was on this big hill. So my dad had an Italian racing 10-speed bike. You could pick it up with one finger. It was one of those lightweight bikes.
Yeah.
And back then it was worth maybe 1,000, maybe more. I mean, it was a really prime Italian racing.
Yeah.
So he told me, you can use it, just be careful with it. So the more someone tells a kid to be careful, you're just looking for setup for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on that hill and I'm flying down at top speed. Now the light is red, so fucking maniac, I'm trying to time the light to green. There's an old lady coming this way. I'm coming down the hill, so I don't time it the right way. Okay. She cracks me. I go flying. My left leg turns toward my right, and the knee slams on the curb. Fuck. So now I'm just laid there, screaming in agony. My friend's trying to help me because I had a buddy with.
You broke your leg.
Didn't break it, but it turns out all the cartilage was torn.
Okay.
The ligaments were all damaged. The kneecap was hanging. Didn't break it, but my whole kneecap was hanging. I couldn't like open my leg up. It was locked.
Right.
So he picks me up. He gets me on the bikes. Now we're trying to pedal home. So now I'm scared. I mean, when I was a kid, I was scared shit of my dad because, he was a maniac, man. When he got mad, it was like, look out. So when I got home, he was still not home from work. So I hobbled up the stairs. I figured if I take a shower, I clean it up, it'll be okay. As I'm showering,
wait, you were trying to hide this from him? You were trying to hide it from. You didn't want him to know you were fucked up.
I don't want to get fucked up. I don't.
That's
exactly,
worse,
man. So it gets better. I get out of the shower. The kneecap went from this to this. It looked like, remember the catchers would wear the equipment for their knees? Yeah. It looked like the big plastic knee pad that the catchers wear.
Oh shit!
So now I'm on the couch. I have it like resting up, and I'm in agony.
What's your plan, though? What are you gonna tell him?
What
do you think? Like what am I gonna tell him this? And he'd be like, all right, cool.
No, I told him that we crashed into each other on the bikes, that we were screwing around, and we had an accident.
Oh, but you were gonna tell him that you were hurt.
Right.
I thought you were trying to hide the fact that you were hurt. You coming up with all these lies, like what?
All these
always
so
look like that.
I'm thinking of the stories to tell before he comes home from work.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Okay.
So he comes home. He says, "The hell happened to you?" So I said, we were going down the hill. We were joking around, and we crashed into each other. He goes, "Are you all right?" So I'm like, "Yeah, it hurts a little bit." He goes, "Don't worry about it. Is it broken?" I said, "No." He's like, "Just walk it off. You'll be fine." So now I'm on the couch, fucking in agony, and he's telling me he's telling me to walk it off. I can't even stand, and he's telling me to walk it off. So now it gets better. I'm laying there in agony for about 8 hours. My stepmother was a nurse. She used to work until midnight. She comes home around 1:00 in the morning. I'm still on the couch watching TV. So I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She said, "What's the matter?" So I said, "I hurt my knee. I fell off my bike." Now she's a nurse. As soon as she turns the light on, she's like, "You weren't screwing around your bike with your friend. Looks like you got hit by a car." She knew right away, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "What'd you tell your father?" I said, "Well, I told him that we were messing around. I don't want to get him mad." "What'd he tell you?" I said, "He told me to walk it off." I said, "I can't even stand." He tells me to walk it off. He went to bed. So she says, "Come on, I'm taking you to the hospital." Bro, she takes me to the hospital. The doctor looks at it. He goes, "I don't know if you're going to be able to walk again. You may have a bad limb." He's scaring the living shit out of me, right? He's like one of those old doctors, like the 90-year-olds on Little House on the Prairie, like Doc Brown, where he barely can even see what's going on. So he gives me the medicine. He tells me the exercises, gives me a big immobilizer, like brace for my leg, and he gives me crutches. So I get back home now. He's waiting for the two of us because she yelled up the stairs, "I'm taking Todd to the hospital. I think he's got a break or something."
Meanwhile, so it's like, "It's your fault. You fucking told him to walk it off."
Right, exactly. So now when we get back, he's like, "Well, what's the verdict?" So she tells him what the verdict is, and she looked at him. "You told him to walk it off?" And he goes like, "Well, was it broken?" So she's like, "That's not the point." "Well, if it's not broken, you got to walk it off." And he kept saying it. I said, "Dad, I can't stand." So when I finally told him what happened, you know what I get? I don't get sympathy. I don't get, "Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that." "Well, it serves you right for lying to me. You deserve it." I'm like, wow. Thanks, Dad.
Wow.
So now I got to do this physical therapy. The whole summer, I got a fucking brace on with crutches.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor said, "You got to lay in your stomach and have your dad bend your leg little by little." What does he do? He contorts the heel of my foot all the way to my head. And I'm screaming, tapping out like a son of a bitch before there was anything called tapping out. This is in the early 80s. And I'm saying, "Stop it, stop it, stop it." He's like, "How's that feel? How's that feel?" But you know what? He fucking abused
You want to tell your mother I told you to walk it off? You never fucking walk it off again.
And you know what? Thanks to that abuse, I was able to walk it off.
Yo,
not too shabby.
Can you imagine if fucking later on in life, you still hanging out with him? He's like, oh shit, Todd, I'm having a stroke. It might be a heart attack. You're like, "Yeah, Dad. All right, walk it off." You'll be all right.
I don't see you bleeding. Walk it off, pal.
Walk. This is fine. It's indigestion. You got. Here's some Tums. You fucking walk it off. It'll go away.
My left arm is numb. Walk it off. I don't see blood. You told me if it's internal, it's not a big deal. Walk it off.
Oh my
God. Yeah,
God.
that's what fathers used to tell us, man. Walk it off. You get hit with a 95-mile-per-hour pitch and right between the eyes, have a big fucking shiny egghead. Walk it off. You'll be all right.
It's funny because, dude, the minute I would fall, I'm like, he'd run over, pick me up, like give me a quick once over, and then put me on my feet, and it's still brushing me off because he figured if I went home clean, my mother wouldn't ask if anything happened at the party or some shit. He was like,
exactly.
"No, he's good.
Wipe
he's
off
good.
the evidence."
Yeah, right. Nothing happened. Nothing to see here. Come on. Go back to cooking.
And the famous line my old man would tell me is, "Don't tell your mother."
That
was always like the end of every sentence. "Don't tell your mother."
Yeah, I don't need to hear her fucking mouth right now about this shit. Come on.
Exactly. I don't need to hear her shit. When you're with me, we do things my way. You don't tell her shit.
A parent too.
Yeah.
The fuck you need her final verdict for? I'm the father too. It's 50-50. Fuck.
That's how fathers were, man. I remember one time he was an engineer. He worked in a factory. So in the late 70s, early 80s, guys, all worked together. There were no women, so they had all kinds of shit up that in today's, generation, forget about it. There'd be lawsuits, forget being offended. So I go to visit my dad at work, and I'm hanging out in the factory and meeting all his friends. I'm like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
And each like not cubicle, but like the factory station where they all had their little setups, all had pinups, from Playboy or Penthouse or
in the office.
So now I'm standing there like this, my eyes like golf balls.
Yeah. That's the way the
I'm
women wish their eyes could be like, motherfucker, we need more
I'm
rights.
going into overdrive, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And he just looks at me. Don't tell your mother.
Don't tell your mother.
That's all he told me. And I'm telling you, man, that was like a running joke with him. Anything I did was don't tell your mother.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Or walk it off.
That's funny shit. My parents had split up when I was a kid, when I was like 9. Yeah, about 9 years old. They split up and my father got his own apartment. And I'm thinking, well, it sucks that my parents split up, but I got another place to hang out. So
I got another place to chill, right? If I get,
so I'm over there.
Bed.
Yeah, I'm in East New York with my mom. And then
you're looking at the bright side.
Right. And then my father's in Howard Beach. So it's one exit away, but it was the brand new condos that he did over there. And it was like, I was like, oh shit, it's fucking cool. I'm thinking it's like, yo, it's the bachelor pad. I'm not thinking, oh, you guys are getting divorced. This ain't good.
Yes. And people are going to feel sorry for me. I'm going to get
right.
money. Yes.
Right. And he must have seen that it was working. He's like, oh, well, he seems happy and I can do whatever the fuck I got to do. Don't tell your mother. Here, you
don't tell your mother.
No
exactly.
Dude, I'm 8 years. Do you want to watch 48 Hours and Eddie Murphy Delirious? No problem. Just don't tell your mother.
Same with us. Don't tell your mother. I remember a time when, I was younger and I was going to take a shower or, I was in the bathroom and my dad lived at my grandmother's house before he got remarried. So in the bathroom, there's these 3 cabinets, like it has all the towels. So I go up, I open up a cabinet and you see like these thick magazines under the towels. So I'm like, oh, curious, 8, 9 years old. What's this? They're Playboys, right?
Oh,
so I'm looking at him.
The stash?
Yep, he kept the stash in the. It was in the cat. He had some in the cabinet. I think he had in the living. He had them everywhere. He didn't give.
And the wife never caught on to it.
Well, he wasn't married at the time.
Oh, okay, even better. Yeah,
he's living back at his mother's house, my grandmother. So my grandma had one of those big, huge Victorian homes, like 5, 6 bedrooms. We all had our own bedrooms. There was plenty of room. So my dad had, his own bathroom, had his stash, whatever. So I come across these magazines and I'm looking at the centerfold thinking, oh shit, this is what I saw at, at his job. So I'm just looking through them, that's all I'm doing is I'm only 8, 9 years old. So I'm not thinking of anything else to do with the magazine. I'm just, like bugging out, looking at it. So as I'm looking at myself, I better put this back. So I put everything back, I take my shower, I get dressed, I come down. The next day he comes over to me, we're eating. And he says to me, can you do me a favor? I said, Dad, anything, what do you need? He said, the next time you look at my Playboys, make sure you put them back the right way and don't leave a fucking mess. And by the way, don't tell your mother. I don't need this shit. But he did turn around and he said, did you like what you saw? I said, yes, Dad. He says, then I'm a happy person. And then years later, we would reminisce about that. And I said, why were you so happy about it? He goes, listen, you're an only child. You were living with your mother most of the time. I just wanted to make sure you turned out okay. And I was happy. I said, okay.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, he was cool with it, man.
My father's cousin, he passed away a while ago. And, his nickname was Blackie. So, I used to go hang out with him all day. He was like the coolest dude, but he was like gangster dude. It was one of those deals where it was like, oh shit, like why do people respect this dude so much? And you don't.
He was like the real deal.
Yeah, he was like the real fucking deal, and I'm hanging out. Gotcha. For all I know, I shouldn't have been hanging out with this dude because God forbid there was a drive-by, and there I am getting fucking,
you could have been
right straight bullet. Like, what the fuck are you doing with Blackie? Like,
exactly.
But, God forbid I get shot. Walk that off. But just
walk that off. Exactly. I don't see no blood. It's like, internal. Walk it off.
Trying to shake the fucking bullet hole out your leg or something. But so I used to hang out with him, and I was like, hey, man, did you hear Madonna's going to be in Playboy or Penthouse, whatever the case was? He goes, you like Madonna? And I was like, oh, shit. He's going to give me some shit because he was like, you fucking listen to Madonna? Like, what you running around listening to Like a Virgin for? What's this shit? And I was like, oh, she's hot. And the girls like her music. He goes, she's naked in that book. I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, show me where it's at. Let's go get it. I was like, oh what the fuck?
Whoa, it's like, you're cool.
Like, okay, let's go. Dude, a couple months later, Brigitte Nielsen was just like, yo, you know who's in the book this month?
The day he offered you that trip to get the mag, I bet you that was the day that the expression word.
Right? You're like, huh?
That's where it started. I bet, because I can only picture it. Let's go pick up that copy of such and such. Word? That's where word was born. I guarantee you.
Dude, it's crazy, man. My father used to have a guy at his job that, and we're talking about like fucking 79, 80, 81. And first off, the dude had an Atari, but he had like the Atari 2000 or whatever it was, and they had games that you couldn't put on the regular Atari, and it, like the casings were in gold or some shit like that. And I was like, "What the fuck are these?" He goes, "Oh yeah, this is this other Atari. It's Atari Max." He had like a briefcase with all the fucking the discs, the cartridges, just like lined up in a briefcase. I'm like, "Holy shit!" He goes, "You know what else I got, little dude?" I'm like, "What you got?" He goes, "You like the Empire Strikes Back?" He was like, "Yeah, I like that." He goes, "I got a bootleg." I said, "What's a bootleg?"
What's a bootleg?
He goes, "I'll bring your father a copy tomorrow." So I'm like, what? Yo, my father came in the next day with a copy of The Empire Strikes Back. And I was like, what the fuck? Because, dude, in those days, you had to wait like 6 years for it to come out on VHS.
You wait forever for it to come out. Yeah. So when you saw those bootlegs,
yeah,
man, your eyes would light up.
Dude, he'd hook me up all the time. I'd get that one, whatever the fuck it was, Empire Strikes Back. He got me a copy of E.T., got me a copy of Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, and a copy of Beverly Hills Cop. Dude, and then my father taught me how to dub the tapes. So I would go to the video store. Because who the fuck at that time? Nobody had VCRs in their house, like in 81 or 82. So he won one at his job. And then we ended up buying another one. He goes, "Yo, we're gonna fuck you." Because back in the days, in the early 80s, it was $7 a day to rent a VHS tape. $7 a fucking day.
My first video card was like a credit card, bro.
Yeah. Dude, we would fucking go and we
it was real shit.
All these movies, like I want to see this, I like this one, and that's how I started. I've got a ridiculous Blu-ray collection today because my father and I would go to the video stores, rent everything they had, then dub copies, and then sell copies. So people were like, "Yo, fuck the video store. Here you go, $5 and you keep it. There you go." So
in the beginning, I was doing that shit. I bought a dual deck, and I had Eddie Murphy Delirious on VHS, and it was hard to come by. So I used to take the blank tape, not knowing what the word pirate means, and I'm making copies and I'm selling them for a couple of bucks a copy. I was like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
At like 13 years old, 14, whatever. I think Delirious came out in like 83. I was around 12, 13 years old. And I'm in school, selling these things and handing them out like a businessman.
Yo, you want to hear a hustler mentality? I had a friend. This dude was just straight. How do we screw the system? So he knows that I was selling copies of like that one summer I had like the Terminator, the Karate Kid, and something else. I was selling copies in school. Oh, and Rocky IV. And I was selling copies in school. And boom, 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 and making money. $5 here, $5. And friend comes up to me. He goes, you want to double your game? I said, what? He goes, you want to double your game? I was like, how? So he takes one of the VHS tapes. He goes, you see that little hole there? There's usually a tab. When you pop the tab out, you can't record on it. But if you pop the tab, if you cover the tab again, like a piece of Scotch tape, you can record on it again. He goes, He goes, after you make your copy, let it run overnight and erase the tape. So that way nobody in the neighborhood can go over there and they can't rent the fucking thing. They all got to come to you for the fucking.
That's the hustle, man. Exactly. And they come right back to you. There's always
like, Park Video doesn't have any copies of the Terminator, but Derek's selling them for $5 and you keep it. So I was like,
that's right. You can keep that.
Dude, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, VHS, the 70s, 80s were a great time. Going back to Atari, before Atari came out, I had this green console with these black levers on the left side and the right side. It was called Telstar Combat. And all it was with two tanks with a line shooting a bullet like a pond.
Yes.
So basically you had one big square and another big square. One's white, one's black.
Right.
Shooting at a smaller square. And I'm playing that shit for hours. Like,
yo, and then every other level was like bouncing bullets. So you had a position.
And then when you got hit,
you had a position.
And I found a way to keep hitting the fucking thing. So we would get pissed because you couldn't get the guy back. You're like, stop shooting my shit. And it keep going, ba-bing, ba-bing. It's like bouncing off the wall. But I graduated to Atari after that. But you knew that you were the shit back in the mid 80s if you had Colecovision. Ooh, that was the Xbox of the 80s.
Yeah. Coleco.
I had the Coleco. I had the expansion module for the Atari games, Super Ash controllers, and one of our favorite loves, Rocky. I had the Rocky box.
Oh, man.
And I was like the shit with that game.
Yeah.
You look at it now, you're like,
how the hell was I so entertained? Like it was crazy. I think that's the one the remote control of the controller looked like a remote control with a little knob on the top.
It was a big red knob on the top. It had a grip gun with like 4 triggers, different colors.
Yeah.
And it had like the touch tone buttons like a telephone. and you had like all these because you put
Right,
like
dude.
the
Yeah,
plastic
exactly.
covers over it to
Yes.
play the games.
That one, yeah, that was too confusing. I was like, oh shit, but the graphics looked amazing for back in those days.
For
But
those
they
days,
went,
that was the Xbox of the '80s,
yeah,
man.
man. I remember when the first computers came out, and my dude got a Commodore 64, and all the things were on floppy disk. He had
Yes, we used to
this
go to the place
baseball
and rent
game.
them out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn,
yep,
man. Oh, we are old as fuck. We're washed up,
we
man.
are. We may have escaped from Brooklyn, but we didn't escape our tendencies and our habits.
No,
I mean,
man.
now I'm a grown ass man. I don't play too often, but I'll play
Yeah,
Xbox One, PS4. But after a while, I'm like, fuck this shit. It's just, back in the day, you took a game, you put it in, you played it, and that was
Mhm.
it. Now you got to upload the fucking thing. You got to wait a half hour for this, 40 minutes for that. Then if you want to learn how to do it, if you don't know the site online, you got to get these big walkthrough books that are thicker than the yellow pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, who has time for that, man?
Yeah, I don't want
I know like your 15-year-old plays the video games,
yeah,
but someone like us, man, we work, we're tired at the end of the day. I'm lucky I could stay awake for a half-hour TV show, let alone try to figure out a 9X yellow page walkthrough book on how to play a fucking killing game.
Dude, it's crazy. And it's funny, like I used to, when we first got the original Nintendo, it was just a thumb pad on the left and two buttons, A red and B red, and that's it. And my father, we used to play baseball, and he would say, I'm getting fingeritis. I'm just fucked up. There's too many buttons on this thing. I can't get the thing.
My hands turned into a claw.
Right. Yeah. Because on the Atari, it was just the stick and the button. So we'd play baseball on that. It was like, you had the 4 directions, you had first, second, third at home. So he's like, well, I can't with the fucking Nintendo. There's too many fucking buttons. I feel like that. Like I'm getting carpal tunnel when I'm messing around with like an Xbox controller. And there's too much shit. It's like trigger this and that. Dude, it's just too much for me. And that's how I know that I've given up on progressing with technology. I'm just like, yo, fuck that.
We can't progress with those times, man. It's getting to a point.
Too much.
I remember years ago, speaking of Nintendo, I'm upstate at my dad's, and we're at his brother's house, my uncle's house, and we're playing Nintendo. So a buddy of mine, he came upstate with me. Mm-hmm. So, we're younger at the time. So I'm kicking my father's ass. He's like the way we are now, where he can barely play the game. And I'm making fun of him, and he's getting hot. And he says, listen, I'm telling you now, you keep this shit up, I'm going to kick your ass. So my dad had a little bald spot on his head. He had hair over the side. So I had my drink in my hands. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to call you Coast the Head. And I put the drink on his head. So now I'm ribbing him and I'm fucking with him. And I'm like, you suck, Coast the Head. What you going to do, Coast the Head? And I just kept it up. So my friend's looking at me like, you're going to get your ass kicked. So I just kept it up because I'm showing off like a jerk. He says, if I get up, I'm going to fuck you up. I said, okay, whatever you say, Coast the Head. By the way, you got killed again. Respawn, and I'm just making fun of him. Bro, he gets up. I don't know. It happened so quickly, like in a shot. He puts my arm behind my back and he's lifting it up and I'm trying to laugh it off. And you can hear like cracking a little bit. Like he's not going to break it, but he's got me tight. So like my body's cracking, from the move. So as he's got my arm behind my back, he says, come on, give up. I said, never, never. He says, come on, give up. Say I'm a bitch. I'm like, okay, you're a bitch. And he says, don't be a wise ass. Say I'm a bitch. I'm like, okay, you're a bitch. And I just kept on doing it and doing it. And he finally picked me up and he like slammed me to the ground. And I look at my friend. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? You weren't going to help me? He says, no way, man. I'm not going to get my ass kicked in. He says, why don't you shut your mouth already? What's wrong with you? I said, thanks a lot, bro. Appreciate it. But I think he took out the anger because he couldn't get past level 1 in the Nintendo game. And after he kicked my ass and I'm on the ground, you know what he said to me?
What?
Walk it off.
Dude,
I'm through a goddamn table like it's a hardcore match. I'm in agony. Man. Walk it off.
They crushed it, man. That's fucking.
You do that shit today, man. You'll be arrested for child abuse.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Times change. I can't raise my kids like that. I can't. I try to tell my kids to walk it off, and they're like, "It still hurts. Take me to the ER. Take me to the urgent care. Call an ambulance." Right. I'm like, "Are you
my finger's bent a little bit. Take me to urgent care." Back in the day. Okay, I'm ready. Hell out of here,
dude. The first time my son had to get stitches, it was hysterical. I mean, he was climbing a fence. He got a gash in the palm of his hand, like he let go of the fence, but it caught him. And so you're like, yeah, you're gonna need stitches. I'm like, butterflies, staples, like what are we talking about here? He's like, no, like stitches. We gotta sew him up. And Nico had never seen his blood before, and he's like, like what the fuck? What they gonna do? What they gotta do? What? I was like, yo, they're gonna sew you up. You remember that scene in First Blood when Sylvester Stallone jumped out the tree and he had to sew his arm up?
Yeah,
That's
his
what they're
arm
gonna
got
do to
he saw
you.
his- yeah, the gash. They could do the same shit. Just watch that clip, pal. That's your fate. Yo, that's crazy, man.
Dude,
That
and
is
he's
fucking
there.
crazy.
Yo, we're there for like 15 minutes. The doc's like, I got other wounded people in the emergency room. Can we hurry this the fuck up? And I'm like, Doc, we're
Exactly.
gonna get it. I was like, Nico, it's the only way we gotta close this shit. And he goes, fuck it, go, do it, just fucking do it. You
The
would
doctor's
think,
like, it's not my fault. He drew first blood.
you would think he's in the zombie apocalypse. They got bit. They're like, yo, look, listen, you can still survive. We gotta amputate the arm. He's like, fucking do it, just do it.
Do it, get it over with. I'll tell you, man.
I'm like,
Stitches for me,
I'm like, dude, they're gonna put 4 fucking stitches in your hand. Relax.
and that's like a bad spot too to get like on the palm of your hand like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was
then
on
it
the
gets
fat
itchy.
part though. That's on the fat part. That's an easy one. When you get close to bone or cartilage and shit, that's when the
Well,
problem.
that hurts. I'm just saying it's just like in a weird spot.
It
that
is,
have
but it's a soft
stitches.
spot. So like when they pick
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
you don't feel the prick. Like I like when they take my blood, they gotta give me a shot. I like flex a little bit. So like maybe I could break it. Not today.
And listen, can you give me some steroids in the meantime? So maybe I can.
Yeah,
build up a
right.
little
Yeah,
bit?
but if you're gonna pump
while
that
I'm
shit, I mean, you might as well give me the good stuff. Come on.
A little bit of biceps and
Insurance.
triceps. You'll be like
What the fuck
Arnold
is
in
wrong
no
with you?
time. It'd
Yeah,
be great. Yeah, I cannot believe it. I'm huge like Arnold. But I'm telling you, bro, stitches and me, no pun intended, was part of a staple of my life
Mm-hmm.
because
Stitches.
I was-
yeah.
when I was a kid, I had stitches in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
I had 20 in my leg. I had 3 or 5 in my chin.
Yeah.
The last day of summer vacation, it was a Sunday night. I'm bike riding like a kamikaze. Remember on the 20-inch bikes when you would ride, if you pedaled, you would lean the bike one way.
Right.
You'd
Right.
lean the other way. So you do that to get the speed up. So you're going back and forth, back and forth. So I'm in the rain and I'm going up the block. I want to go to the card store to get like a soda, candy, whatever the hell it is.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, it's like 6 o'clock at night. My ass should be in the house getting ready for school for my first day, laying out the first day of school clothes. I'm out like a kamikaze riding my bike like a maniac.
Mhm.
So I turned too quickly. The bars went in. I go
Oh.
surfing off the handlebars,
Uh-huh.
and I literally landed in the street chin first. I don't know how anybody
Ooh.
lands chin first, but I smashed my chin in my face, and I had to get stitches. So now we're sitting in the emergency room at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and school starting in a couple of hours, and I'm just getting like that look of death by my mother, like
Mhm.
of all fucking days, you asshole, you had to do this now.
Yeah.
So I go to school the next day. It's Catholic school. Keep in mind,
Shit.
I got a chin strap around me, like I should be in a rubber room, you know, and like everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with this kid?
Uh-huh.
And you know, they're looking at me like there's something wrong with me.
Right.
And right away, the teachers are like, "Is everything okay at home?" And you all right? I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, I fell off my bike." You know, because they see this
how
fucking
hard your
chin
mom take
strap.
that discipline out on
They
you?
see cuts and everything else, and
Right.
it's like, what a way to start your first day.
They went
of
back and
school,
checked
you
their
know?
notes. Did I send Todd home with a note yesterday? What the fuck?
Exactly. It's like, you know, Mrs. DePont, are you aware that your kid has cuts around his face and contusions and his chin is all
Fucked him
fucked up?
pretty good. God damn.
Yeah, well, you
I
know,
might
my
have to
son's an
report this to
asshole and he
SVU.
decided to ride his bike in the rain. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that was me. I was the guy for the class pictures. I always had some kind of shiner or something
Oh,
fucked
in the
up.
class pictures.
Oh yeah, it would never fail, man. If it was
Dude, I
class
gotta see those
pictures or a
pictures.
class
I
trip
gotta see those pictures.
or whatever it was, you know, I look like Rocky Balboa. You know, it's like, hey,
Dude,
yo, you
that's
know, I got into a fight. What can I tell you?
Tom, we need a little extra money. I need you to be a cage fighter. What?
That's right.
Knuckle up. Come on.
Hey, yo, I'm ready. You know, just make sure I have something to drink
What are
before
you
the
doing out
game.
there?
But I'll tell you, man, it's funny because I guess the acorn doesn't fall too far from the tree. Because my daughter one time, it was the day before school pictures, and she was watching TV, and like the kids always cut the hair of their dolls and do that kind of
Oh,
shit.
shit.
She decided to cut her own bangs, right? So I caught her, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she says, "Nothing." And she has her hands behind her back.
Yeah.
And now the wall behind her is a mirror.
Uh-huh.
All I see is 2 fists with hair coming out of the fists. I'm like, let me see those hands. Her bangs look like a staircase. Thank God my
Yes.
wife, she fixed it up nice and you'd never know. But I was thinking to myself, wow, it must be something in the blood. I don't know what it is because when I was younger, that
Mhm.
would be something I would have done.
Dude,
you
I
know?
did it in Puerto Rico. It was hot as hell. My parents used to have give me that bowl shape where the fucking bangs come down like a shaggy dog and goes on.
Yep.
So
Cut around the bowl.
So I'm in Puerto Rico. It's like 120 degrees. I'm sweating my ass off. Hair's going in my eyes. So I went snip, 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 but I did the ladder thing too. The stairs. It was. So I was trying to cover it, and my grandma was like, "Why is there fucking hair all in the bathroom?" I'm like, "I don't know." My mother
don't
gets
know.
to Puerto Rico, right? Because I went first.
Ugh.
She ends up coming to Puerto Rico. She's like, let me see your hair. What the fuck? What you do to your hair? So we gotta take it all off. Take it all off, yo.
So the bald look started early.
10 years
No, you
old.
didn't
Had
plan
my
it.
head shaved bald for the first time. Oh, because I just
I would
wanted to
love to
cut a
see a
little hair
picture of
out.
that,
So
man.
didn't go in my eyes. I ended up going fucking bald at 10 years old. Went back home. They were like, "Did you get cancer in Puerto Rico? What the fuck
Yeah,
happened
what
to
happened,
you?"
man? With the fucking the hot heat burns your fucking hair off. What happened, dude?
God damn, the sun over there's like chemo. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't going there.
I'm telling you, man. I shaved my head one time too, and it wasn't pretty, man. At least you got a good dome, man. I decided to do
Yeah.
it, and no, it looks good, man.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Passes.
Dr.
It's
Evil.
round. It works. It's right. If I had like lumps or like a square blockhead,
Yeah, because some people got fucked up heads, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the head looks like a question mark. It's all dented and all weird looking.
Yeah,
Nah,
man.
man. No, not to sound like a fruitsy tootsie, but you got a good dome. So
I got good head.
yeah, you got good head. Let the record show I didn't mean it that way.
I would
But
love
man,
to
oh
know
man,
why
I
we're
shaved
so
my-
why we're all predisposed that a round head is a good head. I mean, a
That's right.
blockhead could be good. Look at fucking what's that video game? Minecraft. They all got blockheads, man. They're pretty popular right now. So I don't know. I think I might. I mean, the round it fits. I've done it for a long time.
Well, if I call you blockhead, it's like Charlie Brown. So I won't call you blockhead. I'll just say you got good head.
I got and my wife can come
It's like
down here.
it's like
and
drinking a
vouch for
foamy
it.
beer. A little bit of head doesn't hurt nobody.
A little bit.
When
Depends.
you drink a
Well,
beer
yeah,
with
you're
the
right.
tap,
No,
the
absolutely.
foam, a little bit of head doesn't hurt.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little off the top. As we call them, sloppy toppy. So it's it's good.
But yeah, man, I shaved my head one time, and it was one time too many. I'll leave it at that. I figured I'd give it a try,
Yeah.
and I was working at my job. I had my cap on backwards.
You went
and I'm packing
completely
out
like
my
to the
stuff.
skin, like bald, like
Yeah.
Telly Savalas bald.
Tony Savalas bald, Stone Cold bald,
Holy shit.
DieHard Derek bald,
Yeah.
totally bald. So I'm working in the supermarket for Coca-Cola. I'm servicing the shelves, putting the
Yeah.
soda up. Buddy of mine, he worked for Keebler Cookies. He was a sales rep. He comes in, he's doing his thing, and he's looking at me as I'm squatting down, packing out. So now with the baseball cap I'm wearing backwards, it had like that plastic with the size. So you got like the loop. So he's looking through the loop, and all he sees is skin. And back then, my hair, you can see my hair, very, very well.
Yeah.
Now all he sees is skin. He's like, "Would you get a haircut?" I'm like, "You could say that." I'm packing out. He's like, "Bro, let me see your hat." I'm like, "Fuck you. You ain't seen shit." He says, "Come on, bro. Let me see." So he took it off. He's like, "Bro, you crazy? What'd you do?" I said, "I was feeling like, doing whatever."
Right.
Like, why'd you shave it? I said, "I just felt like doing it, man. I felt like doing it." And I didn't say nothing. And the reason, I know it sounds crazy and it sounds stupid, but I've always had this goatee. But back then it was dark when I had brown hair.
Right.
And I figured this is in the mid 90s. And, I was a wrestling fan. I was a fan of the Attitude Era. And I liked the Stone Cold Steve Austin character. So I figured, let me shave my head bald and see if I could be a badass. And I look more like a dumbass. So I could not wait for the hair to grow back.
Wait, so you did it in tribute to look more like Steve Austin.
Exactly.
This dude came in, though, maybe, did he just go full like skinhead on us? Is this dude, we got a Nazi
He's thinking
right here?
something bad.
Like,
Forget Steve Austin. I look more like Gilbert. So, it was
you
just,
come in with wrestling boots. He's like, oh shit, Doc Martin got a new style.
exactly. He's going to think I'm out to like hurt people or do something bad. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to emulate someone that I thought was cool at the time. And let's just say it worked for him. It didn't work for me.
Right.
He was a badass. I look like a dumbass.
Yeah, well,
I waited for that shit to grow right back in, and I never looked back.
At 19, I did it. Me and my friend, we were walking down the street one day, right? And he's like the kind of dude that I grew up with, and we just wrestled anywhere, like in the middle of the street, the parking lot, inside a supermarket. We have like a just ridiculous.
Yeah, we all had
shit.
that friend that just play fight, beat the shit
Right,
out of each
but
other.
dude, like in public, and like people just come around and just like fucking like gather around, like, is this for real, or like
Thinking
can
it's
they see? Because when they see us doing like 1, 2, kick out, and then we start doing commentary while we're fucking fighting. So he was that dude, and dude, one day we were walking down the street, right? We had our hair out. We're like, yo, we should grow our shit out like Brian Pillman and go crazy, right?
Wow.
I don't know what happened, man. 1 July, we just walking down the street in Canarsie, and we right by the movie theater. There was an old school barber there. He had like the old barber.
I know what you're talking about over there.
Dude, I walked in. I said, he goes, "Yeah, what do you boys want?" I'm like, "Take it all off." He was like, how much? I said, all of it, dude. Bzzz. The hair just started falling in clumps. It was insane. I gotta send you pictures, dude. I'm 19
I got to
years
see
old.
that because now you're screwed because you can't put that shit back.
No. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, and he started right in the middle. So, like, if you want to start on the sides, like, you know what? Forget it. Just give me a fade. He's both like,
No, he purposely screwed you by going right up the middle. So now there's no looking back.
Right. There's
There's
no
no alternate style. Now it's bald or look like a fucking like a
reverse
jamoke because
mohawk.
now you're screwed. Exactly. Oh, you have a reverse mohawk
Yep.
like a hawk.
Yeah, man.
But you know, like I said, I did it one too many times, and that one time was enough for me, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my parents like, what the fuck? You planning on going to jail anytime soon? I was like,
Exactly. It's like it's like, did you lose a card bet or some shit?
Right.
Like what the fuck happened? But with me, I used to have long hair. My hair was down to my waist.
Uh-huh.
And I had long hair for like 15, 16 years. And one day I just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna cut it all off and have it like this. Just shave it short.
Yeah.
Never had short hair really in my life. Even in the 70s, 80s, I had like my hair up to my collar. It was never short.
Uh-huh.
I go in there and the guy puts into a long ass ponytail. Seagal had nothing on me. He puts it on, he puts the ponytail on and he says, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he doesn't go from the very top just to get rid of it. He's doing it little at a time just to fuck with me.
Oh,
And
get
as
out.
he's cutting it, you can hear the crinkle. And
Right.
now when you cut your hair, it doesn't hurt. But as he's cutting my hair, I'm like, I'm like wincing.
Yeah.
Bro, I went outside and it wasn't even too cold a day.
Uh-huh.
My neck was never exposed like that.
Wow.
I was walking like this for days. People thought I had no neck. I was freezing. I wasn't used to that shit. Not at all.
What made you go from one extreme to another? Because you went from really long hair to nothing back there. Like, how come you didn't gradually move it up?
No, I didn't graduate because basically I was about 25 years old.
Okay.
And I said, I've had long hair now from like 14 years old to about, 25. I mean, we're talking like 10, 11 years. I need a better job. I have to start thinking about the future.
Oh,
no one's going to take me.
Right.
Nobody's going to take me seriously.
You becoming a man then. You're like, all right.
I'm trying to become responsible because I'm thinking.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That was your turning point.
That's the turning point. I said, if I keep going for jobs looking like this, I mean, I had a really good job in 92. I had long hair and I was making good money, but it didn't last. And then all the other jobs after that, they were decent jobs, but I felt like I wasn't being taken seriously for a promotion or anything of that nature. So I just said, fuck it. I cut it off. But bro, it took a long time. I'd be in the shower with the Pert Plus, and I used to have the pump for the long hair. So I'm pumping all this shit in my hair. It's like shoot down the neck, down the ass, and on the floor. I'm like, what the fuck? It took so long to get used to having a head like this.
Damn, man.
But in episode 3, it's probably gonna be a lot shorter because I buzz my shit now myself. Ever since the pandemic, there was nothing open.
Yeah.
And I said, screw it, man. Two haircuts will pay for the buzzer.
Right.
So all I stress to people out there, not you because you're bald, but most people who want to cut their own head, read the fucking instructions. Don't be a know-it-all like me. I used to go to my barber. He'd do a 3 on top and a 0 on the sides and the back. So I thought it was a universal clipper. I get this fucking clipper. I put it on 3. I go like this, and I'm almost Telly Savalas. All the settings are different. It took me like 4 or 5 haircuts to get a decent, cut. Thank God I'm working remotely from home because if I would have gone in there, I would have got my walking papers. They would have thought, okay, this guy's a little fucking nutsy.
Dude, you
here.
got the military look going on right now. Everybody's got this going on. I don't think
who cut your hair, Stevie Wonder. I mean,
like
you had to see some of these
people,
haircuts. They were bad.
Older people like us are wearing our hair a lot shorter now, and the younger kids are not only letting their hair grow out, but they don't even brush it anymore. So this shit is just like, you ever seen The Weeknd?
They do this fucking like wind tunnel shit that it's all over the place.
I mean, the dude looks like a Miyagi tree growing on his head, just like some. Oh, dude, I don't get it.
Mine was styled. My hair was nicer than girls' hair. I mean, I washed that shit twice a day. It was flowing.
Yeah, you had the Pert Plus, man.
Pert Plus, and I still use it, man. Not as much, but I still use it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, and shout out to Pert Plus if you want to give Escape from Brooklyn some dinero.
Oh, absolutely. I think we use Pantene, so if you want to throw some money this way too.
Shout out to Pantene as well, man. My wife uses Pantene.
Don't even have hair. Fuck, I ain't giving no money.
Out, man. Use that silk shit, man.
Get you a wig, maybe.
That's right, man. That shit is some shiny shit. But all I know is that when I had long hair, if it wasn't out, I put it in a ponytail. And when I say a ponytail, I mean an actual ponytail. What the hell is up now with these little things they're calling man buns and all this weird shit?
Yeah,
I don't get that shit, man.
That's a little much. I mean, the ponytail, I don't know. Is the ponytail worse? I guess as long as you don't put a man's hair in pigtails. then like, oh,
But
yo,
when I see the man
that's
bun,
no
I
good.
think of Jim Carrey from In Living Color with the pigtails. Hi
Oh,
there. My
yeah,
name's
yeah,
Becky.
yeah.
That's what I think of, dude. When I see those man buns, I think right away of Jim Carrey with the
Uh-huh.
pigtails. I mean, I thought back in the day, like a ponytail was badass. You got guys like Steven Seagal, Rob
Yeah.
Van Dam. You know,
Rob
all these
Van
guys
Dam.
had ponytails. You know, they all had ponytails, man.
Wait, give me your top 5 ponytails from back in the day.
Top 5 ponytails. Wow.
Challenge. Go ahead.
Wow. So you got Toddy D. You have Steven Seagal.
Okay.
No particular order. Rob Van Dam.
Okay, that's 3.
You know, a lot of times Shawn Michaels, HBK. He
all
wore
right.
the ponytail.
So all right. Let's take out RVD and Shawn Michaels. We'll keep it at Toddy D and Steven Seagal. No wrestlers. Everybody's got
No
long
wrestlers.
hair. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're making it rough. So who else? Shit. Okay, Lorenzo Lamus when he was in the Renegade, he had the ponytail. So there you go. You want to make it hard? I'll come back with Lorenzo. Remember Lorenzo Lamus? He was on that show Falcon Crest. He had the slick back fucking Romeo hair. And all of a sudden in the late 80s, my man grew that shit out. And I'm like, that's Lorenzo. That's the dude from Greece that put his fucking foot in the helmet with
I'm gonna
Sandy.
give you that one because you said Lorenzo Lamas. You get that one. That's 3.
Try to think, man. Now you got me. Now you
2
called
more.
me out. I don't know, man. I can't think.
2 more. You see, but you said ponytails was a big thing. You don't even have a top 5. You got to get me 2 more ponytails.
2 more ponytails. And it can't. I'm looking around the studio here. Too many wrestlers, man.
No wrestling.
Man.
No wrestling. They all have long hair.
Now you're making it rough. Unfortunately, that was most of my childhood, man, was wrestling. So I don't fucking know, man. But
Right.
when I watched the Renegade, he had the long hair and the motorcycle and the ponytail. And I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't much older than him, and I had the same look. And one time I'm in a supermarket working, and these old ladies were online. And I swear to God, the old lady looks at me and she says, "Did anybody ever tell you that you look like Lorenzo Lamas?" When I heard that, my ego went from here through the fucking roof. Because I look nothing like Lorenzo Lamas, but man, that made my fucking day, man. Let me tell you.
Like if somebody came to me like, "Hey, you look just like Eastside Morales." I'm like, "What? Bob from La Bamba?"
Exactly. Exactly. Who'd you call me?
You know what? I've never watched the show, but I always get either fucking Pitbull or the one from that 70s show. I don't know.
Oh, I've seen the 70s show a couple of times.
Yeah, so
man.
But that's when
is it one of the kids or one of the parents?
No, one of the kids. One of the kids. I forget his name.
One of them was bald?
No, not bald. What I should have set up with was that it was my high school pictures that you should see it. So
I know what you're talking about. And not to be stereotypical, the Spanish kid in there with the Eric Estrada head. The one that talked like this.
Yes, probably him. Probably, I would assume it is. Yes, he's brown too. Yes.
Let the record show I didn't say that. You did, bro. I thought you meant an actual bald dude on that 70s show. I'm thinking about is the fucking father because he was bald. But he was an old Caucasian, so I didn't think you meant
the
him.
brown one. Mila Kunis? No.
No, but the one you're talking about, man, when I first saw him, he reminded me of a skinny, cracked out version of Eric Estrada with that hairdo, man.
Yeah.
He didn't have the white teeth like Ponch, but still.
Look at him. That's what my high school picture looked like. My yearbook picture, my senior year.
Well, I seen some pictures of you, which with the DA with that slick back hair.
Oh,
and
dude,
and you got that suave porn stash going.
DA,
I was like, bro, look at this fucking mess, boy.
Yo, I was
bad.
DA forever.
my old man used to make fun of me when I first grew my mustache. He's like, "You call that a fucking mustache?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do you call it?" He says, "It looks like a football field." I'm like, "What do you mean a football field?" He says, "It looks like you got 11 players on each side." He says, "What the fuck is that?" He said, "That's no fucking mustache." He says, "What the hell?" He kept on calling me Chico.
Yeah. Dude, I had a mustache at such a young age that they used to let me in, no ID, to the fucking all the peep shows in the porn stores on 42nd on 42nd Street. So yeah, it was like little Amsterdam. You'd walk in there like, oh, like he's got a mustache. He's good. Bring him in. Come on, McLovin.
He's an adult. That's how I was able to get the 40 ounces back in the day. I had the mustache. Yeah. I looked older.
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Plus, back then in Brooklyn, man, it was easy to get a 40. You walk in, and the guy's doing one thing, not even looking. Yes,
Yeah.
hello, my friend. What can I get for you? And he's just ringing it up, not even paying attention.
Right, yo.
And then
we
we go
get
to
a
the
pack of
schoolyard,
Marlboro. Okay, yes,
we
my
brown
friend.
bag it. And that's it, bro.
That's
A lot
it.
of things about Brooklyn people don't know out there. I bet you if you're not from Brooklyn, you don't know what a stoop is. If you're not from Brooklyn, you don't know what a bodega is.
Mm-hmm.
Or brown bagging it with the 40s, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
know,
Old
we
school
escape
ways.
Brooklyn, but the mentality will always be inside
Always
us.
be there, man. Absolutely. But yo, we should probably wrap this one up. We've been doing lots of laughs today.
Lots of laughs, man. And
We'll
there's
take
so
this one
much
home.
more to come that I cannot wait.
Yeah, so much more, man. I'm having a blast doing this Escape from Brooklyn thing. And you guys
Same, man.
start following us, get this thing going out there. Tell your friends about it. Sponsors, throw some money this way. Cut the check with those Brooklyn guys. Forget about it. Out of here. Till next time.
We're out of here.